All right, it's Trial Tuesdays, and you know what that means. That means David Aylor, attorney at law, is here to help us with all of our legal questions. David, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Today we're talking about a very serious topic, gun responsibility, and in the wake of this Ohio high school shooting. I mean, lots of people are starting to ask questions. How are these kids getting these guns? And I know you kind of wanted to start with something and then kind of lead into that. So.
Right. I mean, initially, the first thing in a lot of these situations look back to once some horrible incident like what happened, obviously, in Ohio happens is, where does the guns come from? Because these children, whether they be high school or sometimes in these other cases you've heard, even younger children, kindergartners even taking a gun to school, really almost not even knowing what exactly.
The 6-year-old recently.
Right, exactly. Is where did that gun come from? Who gave it to them, or who left it out, if you will, or left it accessible for them, because that's really where it starts. No different than prescription drugs and that sort of thing, other things that minors and children shouldn't have access to.
The school shootings especially, I mean, everybody remembers Columbine, then you remember right after that was Heritage High School in Georgia, and now we're talking about this. David, what happens? Who's responsible for this? I know that they're going to charge this, they're going to try to charge him with what has happened, but someone down the line got him this weapon, or he took it from someone else.
Exactly, and that's going to be just as important to the police and the government there and the prosecutors, exactly where that gun came from and how did he get it. Did he get it from someone? Did he buy it from someone, meaning off the street? But a lot of times that's not the case. It's actually, in fact, a parent's gun or a relative's gun where it's just been left somewhere loosely, not under lock and key, and there is criminal responsibility in that.
All right, specifically in South Carolina, what are the gun laws for people that own guns right now that think they know the law, and oftentimes they don't, and for people that don't have a gun that might want one to really protect their family? What do they need to know?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to think about the age. You've got to be 18 years old to have any type of firearm. Beyond that, once you own that gun and that gun's under your property and your care, you have to make sure that that gun is kept in a safe place, meaning it's not left out somewhere where either one, an accident could occur within your home, which you hear about that very often. And you can also just get in trouble just endangering children because of the place that you yourself keep the gun without anything actually happening. So that's probably the first and foremost thing, is exactly how you take care of your weapon, where you take your weapon, and how you carry it within a vehicle. And beyond that, when you leave an area, like for instance, if you're out of town or your family's out of town, that sort of thing, you obviously have issues there because, again, particularly if you have children or if there's children in the area where your home is or where you reside, things like that. If you're reckless with how you protect yourself as far as where you put your gun, that sort of thing, and it ends up causing an accident, they will come back to you.
It seems that people, they often forget how, I guess you could say, how curious children are, because they find a lot of things that you would think that they wouldn't find. So where do you suggest that people keep guns? I know you want them locked up, but not just locked up, but you would imagine a place where they can't reach them.
Right, exactly. A lot of people will keep the guns in their master bedrooms, closet, something like that, under a lock and key. Probably, obviously, the most important thing is keeping it in some sort of lock box, a safe, that sort of thing. So even if a child was to find, the actual boxes in, they couldn't get in it. Or if in these situations like Ohio, different things like that, not saying that's where it came from there specifically, but if a teenager's looking for a gun and, obviously in that mindset that they don't have the ability to retrieve those weapons from family members. So I think keeping it, in a safe place, and not only keeping it in a safe place, but keeping it in a secure location, in that even if it was found by a child or, a curious teenager, it was, not able to be accessed because it was simply locked up.
It would seem that this is a conversation that's filled with common sense answers. But if it were common sense, then it would be common and everybody would know it. And it seems that we're always dealing with something like this.
Exactly. Such like so many other things, people getting in car wrecks and things like that because of the way they drive. Guns, people get too, they get too familiar with them. They get too loose with them, the way they handle them, how they place them, where they put them. I mean, people will just put them in, some of the most odd places under their couch, things like that. And, not really think about what could come from that, depending on children and different other individuals that are around.
Well, constant reminders are always good.
Exactly.
David, thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're back with more Low Country Live coming up right after this break. Stay with us.